this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. I've been dreading this and I'm still dreading it. Inside here are orchids that have been sent by post. Well, you've seen me filming the weather, haven't you? And the nighttime temperatures we've been getting, so I don't know what I'm going to find in here. Could be a melted mess. But nonetheless, it was an emergency. I'll put a pop-up of the details, but basically a viewer was moving back to her homeland, was the expression used. So obviously changing countries, and the orchids just couldn't go, and she wanted a good home for them. Well, we'll discuss that later. All I'm interested in now is anything alive in here, and this will be purely dependent on how this has travelled, in what mode it was travelling, and where it's been stored when it wasn't travelling, if you see what I mean. You know, I mean, there's an awful lot of depots and warehouses aren't heated. You know, all the boxes and packages are just chucked in there, and they could be well down in sub-zero temperatures. You never know. Some of them are heated, so this is just totally dependent on how this has travelled. I must admit, when the box came in and I felt it, the box did not feel freezing cold. And I've just spotted a green leaf that is firm, so that leaf ain't dead. But that's just one. This is going to make a mess everywhere, isn't it? Yeah, I'm sorry I'm filming in this sort of light, but at the moment the grow room is out of bounds. Simply because by opening the door I'm losing my heat to the house, and my heating has been on all day, and certainly out in the kitchen area I've only just managed to get up to 21 degrees. It's 22 plus in here now, but the only reason it's like that is because the grow room door is virtually shut. But I'm leaving it partially open to borrow some heat from the house, because I'm wrapped up warm, I can stay warm, but I'm borrowing heat from the house as the heating's just going to stay on now till this weather breaks. I'm not having... I got up this morning, and although the heating was on when I got up, the house was down at 16 degrees. Now I don't want my house getting down that cold, because it just takes too long to warm it up again. So I've let the heating get the house warm, and now the heating's just going to stay on until this weather sorts itself out. I don't actually know what's in here item by item. All I know is that it's fundamentally somebody's collection that they couldn't take to their homeland with them. So this is going to be as much as a surprise to me, to you, as it is to me. I'm just hoping we have living plants and that they've managed to stay at reasonable temperatures in their travels. I hope there's a letter or something, because I haven't got a clue what that is, but it's alive. God, it feels incredibly cold. The actual leaves feel really cold to the touch. This is why I wanted to do this tonight, because if the box itself, the contents of the box, every fabric inside that box has chilled down, by leaving it closed it's going to stay chilled for some considerable time. So I just wanted to get all the plants out into some warmer air. They're not going to stay in the house, they will go out in the grow room, because that could be quite a shock to the system to suddenly come out of very, very low temperatures into the sort of temperatures that I'm living in. That might be a bit too much of a shock, so I'll do it gradually. I need to know what they are to find out what we're dealing with here. Yay, that's a dendrobium for a start. It's cold and it's wobbling around a lot in this pot, but I don't worry about those sorts of things. Yeah, it's also a little limp, but that actually feels like it's dehydrated rather than freezing cold. So a little dendrobium there. As I said, what that first one was, I don't know yet, and quite honestly I don't care. I just want to get these out and get them sorted. I'm just going to break off a minute because I need something to put the rubbish in, because it's bits and pieces. I don't want to just throw it on the floor like I normally do. I'll be back any minute. Right, that's got most of the shreddy stuff out of the way. This is a hell of a box full of orchids. And there's me trying to rationalise and actually make sure I'm not using up space unnecessarily. But this was more of a favour than anything else. Well, that is, goodness knows what that is. It's actually got some flower buds down there. I'm not sure that's actually the flower buds are going to survive. But there's some up the top of this cane, but this cane is totally desiccated, so I don't know whether that one's going to even make it. But we can but try. So I just want to get them all out initially and just get them out of the cold. First priority. Where's my bag? There's a lot of orchids in here. A lot. An awful lot of them, the media's sort of come out of the pot and disturbed the roots, so you know, a lot will need that being dealt with relatively quickly. One in a little basket, another dendrobium. No leaves. Oh, whatever that's in is a solid lump and it's freezing. Well, that one's actually, oh, that's plant H apparently. That might be relevant, we never know. No signs of life on that plant at the moment. I'm not even halfway down the box yet. I must admit, when somebody said, can I send you my orchids, I thought we were talking about like 3 or 4. I've got green leaves in here. Right. Big green leaves. And a plant falling out of its pot. Pseudobulb was bent. We've got a choice there. Yeah, contest. Oh, it says on here. I was just going to say, it's either a type of dendrobium that's a bit off, or it's Cattleya, but it says on the pot Cattleya. Harrisoniana, Volcano Queen, crossed with Binot, or Binot, depending on your pronunciations. Well, that will, if it lives, it will be in a holy clay pot because it's our Cattleya. Still only halfway down the pot, box. As I say, I would say who sent these to me if I could. But I'm in the middle, literally, of defragmenting my hard drive at the moment, so I can't get at the email. That is a very, very desiccated oncidium of sorts. The roots don't look too good on that, but we'll look into that. I'll run out of table in a minute. Tiny little one. What's this one then? Tiny little something. Do you know, I don't think there's a list in here of what these are. Oh, I can see the bottom of the box. I can also see a lot of leaves down the bottom of the box. Ooh! Looks a little like a coleogeny. But it could be something entirely different. But along those lines, do you know what that actually looks like? That looks like that Bifreniara thing that I've got. That we shall see. Just gonna. I hope you've got yourselves a chair, got yourselves comfortable. You know, a glass of wine or something. I could be here some time. A little something. Ooh, that one's actually got new growths. Do you know they're freezing cold to the touch, but they don't. The cell damage would be obvious by now, I think. You get like soggy, wet looking, darker patches on the leaves when you get cold damage. And it's quite obvious, and it doesn't like take 2 or 3 days to come out. Because it's cell damage, it's sort of instantaneous really. If the plant gets down to a temperature it can't cope with, you get the cell damage on the leaves. And as long as it doesn't really get into the heart of the plant, often the plant itself will recover. Another little something. Possibly a bifoliate cattleya of some sort, but seedling again. Well, I can state categorically now that although the viewer wanted these to have a good home, that good home may well not be with me. Simply because I haven't got the space for all of these. I'm squashed up with my own plants at the moment without adding. I mean, obviously I've obviously got room for little seedlings. Now that one, either that's a shoot that's just died, because that's not cold damage. Anyway, another little seedling. I think there's going to be quite a few of these lurking in here. They've been used to pack the larger plants. Not a bad idea. You see what I mean? They've been put between the larger plants to fill the gaps up. Well, that's what it seems like. Oh, this one's heavy. Probably means it's wet. What have we got here then? Another very young plant. Oh, the leaves feel absolutely freezing. But it's just a matter of, have they gone beyond their point of no return? And that one does have marks on it, that one might. So different plants will tolerate different temperatures. I mean, some of the resting type dendrobiums in their native homeland often get quite close to freezing. But they're dry at the time, not wet. And they manage it. Whereas you get something like cattleyas are just not used to those low temperatures. Well, that is a dendrobium. And those leaves, I think, are suffering. May bounce back, but those leaves are cold and they go flimsy, and then you get that wet staining sort of markings on it if it's cold damage. But all I can do is get them out in the grow room and then sort of in a couple of days check to see what's happening with the leaves. Some leaves are going to go down. As I said, it does purely depend on where this has been kept. Oops, that came straight out of the pot. Nonetheless, that's not a bad little plant. It hasn't got excellent roots on it, but it's a nice little plant. I mean, that's the next thing, is some of these are probably going to need setting up in their pots again because they've wobbled loose in transit. So they dislodge from their packing, you know, their things. Makes life difficult for them. Ooh. Well, I hope that does okay, because that's Nora Tokunaga, that's a Latoria type dendrobium. Now that should not get cold, but you know what, I think that's actually survived. You can tell if you start feeling leaves, especially those that are heading towards the fleshy sort of thing rather than thin flimsy things like Oncidium types, if they've got cold damage on them, they don't feel right. It's difficult to explain, but if you've come across it once in your life, you will not forget it. Yeah, there's an awful lot of quite young plants here. What have we got here then? Looks like another little dendrobium of sorts. Yeah, see, the leaves are cold, but I think they're okay. I don't think all of these plants will be okay. I'm saying they're okay, but it's an initial look. I won't be able to tell for a couple of days really, but all I can do is get them out there so they don't get a dramatic sudden temperature rise, because that won't do them any good at all, and then sort of revisit them. Where the hell I'm going to put them, I don't know. I'll find somewhere for now. Even if they go on the floor for now, it won't hurt. Another dendrobium of some sort. Yeah, see, you won't be able to see in this light, but that leaf has got cold damage. That one, you can see the change in colour, and yet that one's made it. But that one doesn't. Unless that was already going down with age or something else before I got it, but that leaf's certainly not happy. Right, we're getting there now. Do you know there's some big stuff in the bottom here? And when big stuff has got dendrobium written all over it, Roger's a happy bunny. I mean, my mindset for purchasing new orchids now is if I'm not looking at what's not far off a specimen plant, then I stop looking. That's my mindset for buying new orchids from now on. I would rather pay the extra and get something that's a reasonable size. See, most of the media's come out of that pot, but being do you know what? I think I know. Oh, it's got a label on it. Dendrobium Memoria Christa Erdmann. And I recognise that square profile to the pseudo-bulb. I've got something very similar to that. And that has not long bloomed. You know, the flower spikes are still there. That may have even been in flower when it left, but certainly isn't now. I think those leaves are okay. Right, we're getting there. There's only a couple more now. That's quite a decent sized plant. It's not got a decent root system as such, but yeah. And in here we have a bag full of media that was in that pot earlier. Not now. Right, I think we're down to the last couple now. Certainly hope so, because my grow room's looking grim for space at the moment. So you can see all the media's out of that pot. Those leaves are gone. That part of the plant was actually touching the edge of the box, so that's been right on the extremities of the box. And this one was actually wrapped in, you know, insulating stuff. What have we got here then? Well, it's out of its pot mainly because of the stake. The stake's dragged it out of its pot. They're going to stand up. I don't think it is. Which means all the media is going to fall all over the place. So, oh, so be it. It'll clean up. But those leaves have gone. So that's the first one that I can seriously say has cold damage. I don't know how much you can see, but there's a colour change, yeah? It's quite distinctive. They lose their shine, they get a flimsy feel to them, and probably in a few days they will drop. But that doesn't mean the plant's dead. Just because it's lost some leaves. It's a deciduous type dendrobium in the main anyway, so it was going to lose them at some point. Now that I won't actually throw away. Who knows, I might send somebody some orchids one day. Oh, I knew there was something I wasn't doing. Yeah, strange time of night for a package to arrive. I'd only just finished my tea basically, and I topped my wine up, I was just settling down to watch some telly, because there's a, well, it's finished now, there was a snooker tournament on, and it doesn't make for the best of entertainment on the TV, but because I used to play, it's one of the sports I'm sort of interested in. Given the choice of what's on, that might have been the best option, but as far as sport goes, apart from rugby, I like the athletics, and I don't mind a bit of tennis. Oh, I hope that survived. That's quite a nice plant. Lovely new growth there. There's a broken one there. That'll have to come off or it'll rot. But that's not a bad plant. There is some transport damage there. There's a couple of leaves bent that will probably come off. But a bifoliate of, oh, it's got a name. That's actually Pradit Spots. I've just bought that one. Well, back in the summer, you know, when the sun shone and we had better weather. You remember the summer? A while ago now. And it won't be too long and we'll be cursing it because our orchids are getting too hot and drying out too quick and all that sort of stuff. And this is, oh, hang on, got another little one. I was going to say there's a really big plant in the bottom here that's that big and bent over slightly at the end. And it's a dendrobium, I think. Another little seedling there. There's quite a few of these little seedlings look incredibly similar. Don't know whether somebody bought a job lot of the same plant. Oh, hang on, we've got another little one in here. Don't think you get a box full of orchids like this that's got lots of newspaper and things like that. Make sure you go through it thoroughly, unless you've got a list to work to, because it's so easy to miss one. And out in the bin it goes. That's got cold damage. A lot of that will depend on whether that one has, because that's the newest leaf on there. Well, so far, these are nowhere near as bad as I was expecting, because I was expecting most of these to be so bad that the leaves had virtually melted, and it's not that bad. It's actually got like a sponge lining in the box in the bottom, so that would have helped protect the plants from one side of the box. Oh my god. Well, that's a biggie. Where am I going to put that? That's a good sized plant. And I don't see any netter. A couple of broken bits off of some plants in the bottom, but oof. Let's see if we can get that off and have a good look. I can't read the writing on there, but it's C-H-R-Y something or other U-M. So I can Google that, even though I can't read the writing. That's got signs of new roots coming out at the bottom. Some of these leaves seem a bit happy. A little disconcerting. This one's got spider mite damage on it. I hope that's not still on it. seem to be any there now, but those are older leaves round here. The newer leaves are up the top of the plant, but that's it. That's spider mite damage. Now let's get a clean thumb, wet thumb. Well, they're not there. They're not there now, but they were there once. Well, that's a monster. I'll have to look that one up, because that's the thing with orchid names and a Google search. You don't have to spell the name spot on. It'll give you everything that's close that it can find, and you can choose which one's the one. But that's in a very, very tight pot. Very tight pot. You're coming off of there because that stake's going to just pull this plant over, I can tell. You're coming out. Oh, what a biggie. That'll look like mounted. It's got... Is that a... Oh, it's a fallen leaf. I thought it was a new growth coming up at the base. I don't see any new growth at the bottom, but quite a few of my own dendrobiums are not pushing up their new growths yet. Anyway, that's it. Are you going to stand up, or are you going to fall over and knock everything else over? You're not going to stand up, are you? Well, you can lie down for now then, like the other one did. Right, I'll get the camera down and we'll have a sort of quick look round, a bit closer if you know what I mean. But I won't be able to do too much, you know, I'm working by electric lights in here, it's pitch dark outside now. Okay, that's quite a table full. I'll have to find some space for them somewhere, obviously, for now anyway. Well, that's not going anywhere, but you know, there is travel damage. You know, there's a nice relatively new cane there that's broken off, which is a shame, but you know, I don't know how far they've travelled and how much the box has been chucked around, but all I'm going to do now is this is just a quick look over, but on the pots that I've got the wrapping off, so far every single one has a label. So I think most of the ones that have still got like tissue trying to hold the media in have probably got a label underneath there. Some of them have actually got labels sticking out the top. So there might be identification on a lot more of them than I thought. But I'll have to have a good sort out when it gets light tomorrow. All I want to do for tonight is just get these out in the grow room where they get a temperature increase that's not dramatic. Because to go from quite close to freezing to sort of 21, 22 degrees is a shock. But to go from near 0 up to 13 isn't too bad. And they'll slowly warm themselves up with any luck. But I'm surprised there is a lot less cold damage than I was expecting. I really was expecting a box of dead plants. And that would have been a very sad unboxing video. Some are worse than others. That one's quite a bit of cold damage on it, and I have seen a few other leaves, but like this one, despite being a Cattleya, hard as nails. Look, there's no damage on that one at all. There's one broken cane on it, that's not cold damage. That will be the telltale sign, that new growth, because that would be the first to succumb to the cold. Not the big strappy leathery leaves, you know, they're more sturdy. So I'll have a better sort out in the morning and we'll have a look round. Big thank you for sending them. I won't be keeping them all, I'll say that now. I'll have a good sort through. Anything that I haven't got that I like the sound of, you know, can stay. I'll find room for it. And well, the objective was to give them good homes. Because they couldn't go and be transported across the countries, the alternative was the trash can, basically. So as long as they end up in good homes, that's good. And I'll sort this lot out tomorrow. Yeah, that's probably ended up being a very long video. I wasn't expecting that sort of number of plants. Just quickly, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. There's heading up around 25 plants in there. You know, that's a lot of plants, but it's probably all of that person's plants. And big thank you and everything like that. As I said, my hard drive is defragmenting at the moment, so I can't get at my emails, so I can't do a name. But from memory, I think it was Beatrix. But anyway, I'll put the credits in the description for the video and everything, and you know, a pop-up and everything like that, because obviously I won't be putting this video together tonight, it'll be tomorrow now. So thanks for dropping by, and well, I think we witnessed something that a lot of people don't appreciate. Some orchids are hard as nails, they really are, and some of them are very fragile, but luckily I don't think there was many fragile ones in here. If those Latoria types have made it, I'll be very surprised. They really should not get cold. I mean, the dendrobiums are probably fine. But as I said, that one has had spider mites pretty bad in its past life. I might well give it a spray just in case once it warms up. You know, the last thing I want is those flipping things in my grow room. Mind you, I had some in the house not that long ago. Anyway, I'll see you next time when I've had a sort out and got the names and everything like that, and then we'll have another look round perhaps.